To make a season 1 tier list for Marvel Rivals. I have been playing the game a shit ton, and I figured I would make a tier list just to put this out there. I am a pretty average player. You know, in Overwatch, I think I peaked at like Plat. Marvel Rivals, I haven't even really played comp at all. So this is just a very average tier list, which will be perfect for most of the viewers because most of the people who play these games are average, just like me. So I'm gonna start out with tanks. I want to make sure that I have all of them. There is a, what's this dude's name? Flame Guy, and then the Thing down here, but obviously they aren't out yet, so we aren't going to be doing them. But yeah, let's start with Captain America. I have been playing a ton of Captain America lately, and I think in lobbies where there isn't a lot of communication and you can just go around and do whatever you want and harass backlines, kill squishies. I think if you know what you're doing on Captain America and you're able to live, I think he's extremely good. So I'm gonna put him in A tier. I think he's extremely good. Maybe not quite as good as like a Magneto or a Strange, but we'll get there. I think if you can live, if you can go and you can harass squishies, you harass the backline and you can live, he's very good. I think Venom is B tier. I don't think he's super good. He kind of has like the same play style as Cap, except his rotations are a lot quicker. So like you literally go in, you like shoot, you slam, you shoot a little bit, press your E, and then like you get out. Whereas Cap is like, he's just in there for a lot longer and it's much more annoying. So for that reason, I'm gonna put Venom in B. Thor, I also think he's extremely good. He's a bit more of a, instead of like flanker, he's like more of like a brawler, like think like a Reinhardt kind of. I mean, like I feel like with Thor, you do just want to like harass the tank and like hit them. You just want to pop your I forget what it's called, but you have your three hammer ability. You just always want to make sure you have that up and just like hit the tank. I think Thor is solid. Magneto is S tier. I played a ton of Magneto. I think he's extremely good. If you can use your bubble and your shield correctly, you should almost never die. And like the damage that you put out, the constant pressure is just, it's unmatched, really. I mean, Magneto, I really do think Magneto's even better than Strange. His ult is solid. You can bubble your teammates if you have like flankers. I mean, Magneto is like, I think he's like the safest tank to pick. I think Groot is B tier. I think it's hard to say. I think the combo with Moon Knight and Groot is really good. But like, if you just have a Groot, like Groot and Strange can be really good too. Like, I mean, it's a very like sustained front line. I think there's just better picks, you know? Like if you want to like a sustained back line or front line, you want to just go, you know, Strange and Magneto, but I don't think he's terrible. And I think that even with I think if you have a Moon Knight on your team, then he's probably A tier. Strange, now this is average. This is the average tier list, right? So bear with me. I think Strange is A tier, not S tier. And I think it's because of I think it's hard for people to get like the sustained, like constant pressure you can get with Magneto with Strange. I've noticed with Strange, like with Magneto, you can kind of poke, you can play back, you can hold the space like with the distance. But with Strange, it's more about you're more brawly, you know? Like his rotation is, you know, shoot, whip, that, or like shoot, shield. And like you want to be like very close up while you do that as well. And I think that's hard to like grasp. And I think people play him a lot more like Sigma or like Magneto, you know, but in reality, he's so much more of like a brawler. And I think also his teleport is kind of hard to use, especially in like average ranks where like there isn't a lot of communication. You're just not going to get like very good teleports. You can kind of get like the cheesy ones, and like those are like what I've seen is the ones where you put them in spawn and like put the other one like off a ledge or something. Like I've seen a lot of that, but in regards to like actually using it to like make big plays, I just haven't seen that. So I'm gonna put him in A. Not bad, but I don't think he's as good as Magneto. I think Hulk, I think his team up ability with Iron Man is a lot of the reason why he's banned in like higher ranks. He's not necessarily, I think Cap is so much better of a dive tank than Hulk. I think Hulk has that like pressure that Cap does for like squishies and stuff, but with Hulk, like you're doing so much more, like you're moving around so much more, like your pressure and your rotations are so much quicker with Hulk. Like you jump in, you punch, jump out, you know, clap, you know, freeze them, jump back in, punch, get out. It's so much more quick. But I have seen some crazy Hulks. Not sure if you guys are familiar with Luca on Twitch, but he plays a lot of Magneto and Hulk is extremely good. He's extremely good at Hulk, but he's one of the top tank players. They always ban Hulk, so he doesn't play Hulk a ton, but when he does, he always pops off. But it is a lot of like actions per minute. Like he's jumping around like crazy, doing all this work for like not a ton of value, you know? when he could just play Magneto and like get the same value and just like actually like win the game, you know? All right, next up we have the supports. So Chatham, also known as Adam Warlock. I mean, I'm gonna put him in A. I think he's extremely good. I mean, his sustain is crazy. His sustain for the team rather, especially with his Soul Link, and then also his res on himself, and then his res on his team. I just think with the res and like you play it safe, I think he's extremely good. I don't think he's good as like a solo healer, but I think that if you have like a Luna Snow or like a Cloak or like a Invisible Woman, I think he's extremely good paired with those. Next we have Rocket Raccoon. I think for this season, Rocket Raccoon is S tier. Now some of you may be disagreeing, but I think the sustain that he has for his team, paired with his res, and then also paired with his survivability. I mean, have you guys tried killing a raccoon? I mean, a good one is impossible to kill. They dash away, you know, they dash up, float in the air, they run on walls. I mean, a good one will never fucking die. Paired that with their fucking gun, they got a buff on their weapon or on their healing. You know, they basically shoot out Morio orbs. So you're shooting these orbs that heal over time. It's healing in like Brawly comps is insane. I think for that reason alone, he's S this season. Especially you get a free res, what is it, every like 30 seconds or something. I mean, it's very good. There's gonna be a common trend with these supports though, you'll see. Okay, so Invisible Woman, I'm gonna put her in A tier. I think she's extremely good, especially with her like boop and pull. Like there's a lot of utility with that. I know as a tank I've been booped off the map multiple times by her, and then also you have the heals are great, the shield is great, you know, I mean healing obviously, but really it's the ult. You can build your ult so quick, and it's so good for like contesting points, especially on like overtime. Like you pop that thing, like you guys are safe, and then the enemy team has to come in and they're at a disadvantage. I mean, the ult is extremely good. Next we have Mantis. I think S tier. She did receive some nerfs, but I'm pretty sure it was just a movement speed nerf, so like it didn't really do much. You know, I'm gonna actually put her in A tier because I think there's better supports, but Mantis is still extremely good. I mean, the damage boost, the healing over time, plus your ult, the big AoE like heal over time ults are like, they're kind of some of the best. It's just a bit, they're a bit OP, I think. I think that support ults should come down and get nerfed a little bit, but we'll see. But yeah, Mantis is A. I mean, Jeff is C tier. He's kind of dog shit. His healing's like, eh. His bubbles are niche. It's like, okay. His ult, now that people are like familiar with it and like learning how to like play around it, I think it's, you know, niche at best. Like he's just kind of like a niche hero, you know. But yeah, I mean, he's fun and cutesy, you know. All right, next we have Loki. So I think Loki is B or A tier as well. Now the reason he's A tier is because in triple support comps, which is not something that you're going to see often in average ranks, but if you ever watch like top people play, the triple support comp is meta right now, and with Loki, he's often picked in those triple supports because of his ult, which is a copy ability, and it's often copying either Luna or it's copying like someone like Cloak. So yeah, for that reason alone, just for his ult, he's A tier. I think Cloak is S tier this season. I'm not sure why she received a buff. That confuses me because they were already very, very good. Their ult comes up pretty much every single fight, and it's very annoying to fight through because nothing dies. And in a hero shooter, nothing dying is pretty much the opposite of fun. So, but for that reason, you know, they do their job very well. Heals are consistent, heals are good. They have very good self-sustain with their bubble. They get jumped, they can do that, or they can literally just go to dagger or cloak form and you know, phase out, run away. And then their ult, you get 4 stacks of that healing stream that you can place on the ground. I mean, there's really, it's probably one of the best ults right now. Support ults anyway. Next we have Luna Snow. So Luna Snow is S tier still. They did nerf the ult to where you can't change between damage and healing as quickly, but I don't think that was actually enough to like not make people play her. I mean, she's still the most consistent support out there. And then her ult is insane. I mean, what is it, like 12 seconds of like basically invulnerability? There's only a few ults that can actually kill it or kill through it. So yeah, for that reason, she's S tier. And this is what Loki's copying, is for the ult, you know. So like a triple support comp would be like Cloak, Luna, and like Loki, and then you just like rotate your ults And like if you do it right, like nothing dies, and it's a pain in the ass to like fight through. All right, next up we have the DPS. So Black Panther. Black Panther, as far as like dive heroes goes, I think he's probably the best. But as far as like DPS heroes go in general, and especially in like average ranks, I think he's B. Like, I think if you're good at Black Panther, you can definitely get a lot of value. But I think in general, he's not as easy to play as like, say, fucking Mr. Fantastic or like Storm, you know, or Namor. So for that reason, yeah, I'm gonna put him in B tier. Next we have Black Widow. I've literally not seen a single Black Widow. There's one Black Widow. I've seen one. And they did dominate, but it was extremely easy just to jump on her and like do what you need to do to shut her down. I mean, just for the fact that I have like literally only seen one in my whole like 80 to like 100 hours of playing, I mean, I'm gonna put her in D tier. All right, next up we have Hawkeye. Put Hawkeye in A tier. I think his nerf was like substantial, but I think I still, you know, I did see a lot of him last season, but I think this season maybe B tier because his nerf was pretty substantial, and I haven't seen a whole lot of him. But he can still be annoying though. I think for the fact that I haven't seen a lot of him, we'll put him in B tier. Hella, I still think is A tier, maybe even S tier to be honest. Like, I think her shots are like fairly easy to hit. Like, I'm a tank player, and like when I go on Hella, like it's pretty easy just to hit shots. And her ult is still good. I mean, I think all they did was nerf her healing, and then they nerfed her like seasonal buff, so like a small damage buff. But she's still extremely good. And if you look at like top players, like she's still banned in like all those lobbies. Next we have Iron Fist. So I think for Iron Fist, I'll put him in B tier. I think if you have a competent backline, like an enemy Iron Fist is like so easy to shut down. Like if I'm playing support and I'm playing a support that doesn't have CC and there's an Iron Fist, I just go to a support that has CC, you CC them, and then you duel them and you kill them. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Like, sure, there's gonna be like good ones, but if you can hit your CC most of the time and then ping him most of the time, like he's not going to be a problem. You just have to hit that CC, go Mantis, throw it at your feet, easy. Iron Fist or Iron Man, I do think he is better than C, but I think for the sole purpose of this tier list, the average tier list, like I don't think he's super good. Like he has like he's kind of like a poke hero, you know, you poke with his like his rockets, and then like you try to get in close and do damage with your gamma ray, you know. And if you have a Hulk on your team, it's even stronger. But I think he's not very consistent with his damage, you know? And I think he has a hard time finishing off kills if you aren't super good with them. Like, you can't just stay in the sky and, like, spam, you know? Like, you have to actually, like, get in there and, like, gamma ray them down. Magic. Honestly, I think Magic is A tier. She might be better than Black Panther, actually. Extremely good abilities. Like, your dash, like, being able to, like, set a minion or, like, do your, like, swing. It's so good. I feel like Magic gives me more trouble than any flanker, if I'm being honest. And I think it is just because like she gets iframes when she does her like teleport thing. So which that just means that she's invincible. So like you can miss your CC when she does it. So like she can bait it out, you know. Moon Knight I think is like probably B tier, you know. I think if you have a Groot on your team, like if you have a Groot and a Moon Knight together, like this pair automatically goes up to A. But I think by themselves, like B. The thing is like your unks, like you can throw them down and like get a couple like you know hits with it, but eventually like it will get destroyed. But very good Moon Knight players like make it very hard to shoot their unk. I feel like a lot of people throw the unk on the floor, but you can also throw it on the wall behind them. You can throw it on their ceiling. You can throw it on a wall on the side. And that's what you should be doing, but I haven't seen a lot of Moon Knights do that. So for that reason, I'll put him in B. I think Namor is an S tier. I think he's just extremely solid, especially with Luna and you have your freeze turret. I mean, the damage that you put out is just so consistent and so insane, and like it's so good for shutting down flankers. He's just S tier. You don't need to reload your weapon. It's just, yeah, very good. I am noticing I forgot to move Penny. Forgot to do Penny, so we'll do Penny. I think Penny is B tier, to be honest. I think Penny has her niche, but her niche is so much of a niche that like, I mean, you can play her on attack, you know, but like there's just better options. But I think like on a defense map where like you can put your like nest somewhere and like hold a position. I mean, obviously she's very good at that. And then also like very good, like if they're playing full dive, like you can go Penny and like get a lot of value. But a lot of times like Penny is kind of not the best pick, but you can make it work, you know. She's not terrible, but it's also just like there's just better options out there. Like if I'm on attack, like I don't know, I'm just gonna play Cap. Like you get so much more value. But yeah, I'm just put her in B. Psylock, I think S tier. Just very consistent pressure on the back line. Again, another one of those like flankers that's hard to deal with, more so than I think Black Panther or Iron Fist, and maybe even Magic. I just think Psylocke's pressure is so much better than Magic's, because like you can damage from range, whereas Magic has to be like up close in your face. I think Punisher is honestly C tier unless you have the Raccoon team up, and even then it's still like you know. I think if you're like a hit scan player, like pretty good, you know, consistent damage. But I do think with all the sustain in the game, he doesn't really have any burst damage, so it is hard to like actually secure kills. But it is nice consistent pressure. Scarlet Witch I think is like complete ass. I have seen Scarlet Witches a lot actually, and they're all dog shit. I mean, even with her buff, it's like, what do you like? Why? You know, I feel like a lot of people play Scarlet Witch incorrectly as well, like because I mainly play tank, so when I see a Scarlet Witch, they're attacking me, and it's like I'm pretty sure they do less damage to tanks. So like, yeah, for anyone out there playing Scarlet Witch, like attack the supports, like go backline, like be like a DPS Moira, you know, like that's what you're supposed to do. Her ult's also dog shit, like you can just kill her through her ult, like not very good. So yeah, D tier. Spider-Man, I think I think Spider-Man's pretty dog shit too. Like I'm sure if you're like very good at him, like you can do a whole bunch, but like you just have to put in so much effort, and for what, you know, to do what Namor can do, just sitting back in the back line. Like I think Spider-Man's also just shut down very easily, and you also just have to put in so much effort to like just do simple things, you know. So for that reason, I think he's D tier. I think he's too hard to play. I really do. Next up, we have Squirrel Girl, B tier. I don't think terrible. I think a lot of people play her like Junkrat, which, I mean, obviously this hero is Marvel Rivals version of Junkrat. The thing is Junkrat is like spam. A lot of his like value comes from like the spam. Squirrel Girl, it's a bit harder to spam on her because her projectiles move so quick and they're so bouncy that like it's hard just to like spam I mean, you can spam a choke and like get a lot of value, but you're getting value from directs. You're not getting it from the explosion damage, you know? Like you can't just like blindly spam and get damage like Junkrat can. It's just not gonna work. Like I've noticed, because I've played her a few times, and I've noticed that a lot of her value comes from her directs. Like directly hitting someone with your projectile is so easy. Like you want to be like aiming to hit them directly rather than spamming. But yeah, I mean, I think if they're playing like a very like brawly like frontline, you know, you say they have like a Strange and a Groot, like Squirrel Girl's gonna be pretty good at just like consistent like tons of damage breaking that shield. So yeah, I think she's pretty good. Star-Lord I think is A tier. I mean, he's kind of like the Tracer of Marvel Rivals. If you're a hit scan player, play Star-Lord instead of playing Punisher. I mean, Star-Lord just has the better ult. He has the better general kit. Yeah, I mean, just go for Star-Lord. Next up we have Storm. I think her projectile buff like pushed her over the edge. I think she's extremely good. I have a friend that plays Storm when we play, and having them on our team is amazing because you get the damage buff and the speed buff. It may not feel like a lot, but it is a lot. It turns, at least for like a lot of the tanks, like oftentimes it takes you 4 hits to kill a squishy, but with Storm on your team, it will take you 3. And her ult is extremely good in lower ranks because if they don't have a support ult for it, it's a guaranteed kill. And a lot of times they don't, or they won't save them, you know. Next we have Bucky. I think Bucky's A tier. I think if you're also a hit scan player, play Bucky instead of Punisher because you have the CC and the ult is better. But yeah, if you can aim well, I mean, you may as well just play Bucky and Star-Lord instead of Punisher. Next up we have Wolverine, I think is S tier. I may be biased because I'm a tank player, but Wolverine is literally the Zombra for tanks players. Even though I played ball and Zombra was already a pain in the ass, Wolverine is this person. He kidnaps you, and then he literally like kills you in 3 seconds. Wolverine is playing against a Wolverine is probably like the least fun I've had in this game. I think this hero is busted, and I hate them, and they scare me. Next up, we have Mr. Fantastic. I think B tier. So Mr. Fantastic is like a pseudo tank kind of. He almost plays like an off tank because you can peel like very well. The only downside of Mr. Fantastic is that his ult is like not even really an ult. It's really bad. For anyone that doesn't know, like each slam down does 75 damage. And Luna heal, one heal does 80 damage or 80 healing per second. So you can literally just out heal his ult with your primary healing, which is pretty funny. But I think the fact that he's so tanky and able to like sustain in fights well, I think is pretty good. He's great at harassing the front line, great at harassing back line, great for peeling. So overall, very good. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the current heroes right now. Let me know if you guys agree. Let me know if you guys disagree. And you guys want to see more of these? Let me know.